What's up guys, my name is Ace, and one of the rewards you get with the Black Ops Tribute event is the Death Machine Scorestreak, which we have seen in previous Call of Duty games. And in today's video, I just wanted to break this down and share exactly how this works, all of the important stats on the Death Machine, and then toward the end, my thoughts on this streak. So starting it off, the Death Machine requires 825 score to earn, so it's actually a little bit easier than the hand cannon, and it is worth noting, this behaves like the hand cannon as well as the War Machine, in that kills with this will contribute toward your Bloodthirsties, Merciless, Relentless, and so on, and also kills with this will contribute to earning a nuke, unlike with any of the other streaks in the game that aren't the hand cannon, Death Machine, or War Machine. Then when it comes to the behavior of this, it's really not unlike what we've seen in the past with the Death Machine. Our rate of fire is a little bit over 1,700 rounds per minute, which is obviously ridiculously fast, by far the fastest fire rate in the game. And it spawns in with 250 rounds that can't be replenished in any way. And as far as I can tell, we're dealing exactly 20 damage per shot, and as a result, it's going to be a 5-shot kill against enemy players. And I couldn't find a range drop off to this as well, so this does apply at really long ranges as well. It's still going to be a 5-shot kill. And what this means is our theoretical time to kill from the moment our first bullet lands until the moment the enemy is dead is just 140 milliseconds, which is a very, very fast time to kill in this game. However, the key trait to be aware of here that is going to be quite limiting for this is there is a wind-up time unless you pre-aim. So if you're going to be hip-firing the Death Machine, from the moment you press the fire button to the moment you actually fire your first shot is about 500 milliseconds, so half a second, which is quite a long time in Call of Duty terms, especially if we're looking at being in a gunfight. So if you're reacting to seeing an enemy player and you're not already wound up with this, there's a good chance they're going to kill you before you can even get a shot off. So of course, to get around this, you have the ability to pre-wind this up by aiming down sight. Now, you obviously don't fully aim down sight with this. It goes into kind of like a tack stance. And when you do this, it automatically starts winding up, and then once it is wound up, the moment you pull the trigger, the Death Machine will fire. Now, just like with tack stance, you might notice there's a laser visible when you aim down sight. This is not visible when hip firing. And just like with all of the lasers in this game, this laser is going to be practically invisible to enemy players on every map aside from Protocol, where for some reason lasers are very visible on that map. Although interestingly, from your perspective, the laser looks green, but from the enemy's perspective, it's actually a red laser. But that's just a minor side note on that. But overall, generally speaking, with the Death Machine, you really want to try to get pre-wound up and aim down sight before actually seeing the enemy player. Because like I said earlier, that 500 millisecond wind-up time is painfully slow if you're doing it in a reactionary way. As for our Sprintout Time, I figured this was something important to mention as well. This is about 275 milliseconds based on my testing, but we have to combine that with our wind-up time, so it's actually more like 775 milliseconds before you're able to fire a shot coming out of sprint. So you absolutely don't want to get caught sprinting with this, because your odds of survival at that point are very slim. As for movement speeds, this will be slowing you down quite a bit. Our base walking speed is just 3.75 meters per second, which interestingly, that's quite a bit slower than even LMGs in this game. So you're going to be walking very, very slowly. And our sprint speed is also quite slow at just 5.1 meters per second. And just a note on that, most of the SMGs in this game are walking at the speed that this is able to sprint at. So definitely pretty slow at getting around the map. And then also I thought I'd point out our aim down sight movement speed. So if we are aiming down sight and pre-winding, are we able to strafe in gunfights? Well, not super effectively. This is just 2.45 meters per second, which is actually comparable to the aim down sight strafe speed of an LMG in this game. So actually a little better than I expected, but still not really fast enough to effectively strafe side to side in a fight and evade shots at the same time. Now outside of that, this has really good penetration values as well, so you can melt people through reasonably thin surfaces at least. Obviously, there's still going to be certain surfaces where you just can't penetrate that, or you're not going to be dealing much damage through that surface. But if you know an enemy is on the other side of a wall, for instance, it doesn't hurt to try shooting them with the Death Machine. Next, I did want to point out, just like with the other streaks like this, if you want to switch back to your gun, you can do that and still have the streak available as long as you don't die. So you can just swap over to your primary weapon. You could use your primary weapon for a kill or two, and then you can pull the Death Machine back out and pick up right where you left off. However, if you die at any point, whether you have the Death Machine in your hand or stowed after you've already called it in, either way, you're going to be losing that Death Machine on death. And then finally, the last thing I wanted to test here is the Death Machine against aerial streaks. And it turns out this is pretty good at taking out aerial streaks. It's not the best or most effective thing out there, but I mean, if somebody calls in a helicopter while you have a Death Machine out and you don't have cold-blooded, you're probably going to want to just try to use your Death Machine to take that chopper out. And it'll take you roughly 4 seconds of firing at that chopper for it to go down, which is pretty quick, but you're going to be wasting a lot of the ammo on your Death Machine in order to take that out. So definitely a decision that you'll need to make in the moment. And there we go. That's going to wrap it up for today's quick breakdown on the Death Machine in Black Ops 6. And when it comes to my overall thoughts on this, I mean, it's just the Death Machine. There's really no surprises here. We have seen this in the past in several Call of Duty games at this point, and this behaves pretty much exactly how we'd expect it to behave. It can be fun to use, can be quite solid, but you don't want to get caught off guard with this because you'll get taken out very, very quickly. So you really want to make sure you're pre-winding up. I would recommend waiting to call this in until you have like a HARP or at least a UAV in the air so you can prepare a little bit more for enemy players before running into them so you don't end up playing in a reactionary way. Now on a personal level, I don't really see myself using the Death Machine all that much going forward, but that's largely just a playstyle thing. I like being a bit more aggressive, and I find you just have to slow down far too much with the Death Machine in order to be really consistently effective with it. But that's just my opinion based on what I'm looking for with the gameplay style. And of course, that doesn't mean the Death Machine is bad, it just means it's not really well suited for me. Now, of course, those are just my thoughts and opinions on this, and this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How are you feeling about the new Death Machine Scorestreak in Black Ops 6 so far? Are you guys generally enjoying it, or not so much? You guys think maybe it needs some kind of an adjustment? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.